All right, one of the things that has changed through this whole recession, and we've talked about this before here, is that your buying patterns, your spending patterns, totally different, and they probably are changed forever. People that used to be very proud of the fact that they shopped at Saks now are going to Target and getting discounts. John Gerzema, did I say that right? Gerzema, president of Brand Asset Consulting, is here with us right now to talk about this. John, it's true, right? We've changed forever.
Absolutely, Tracy. I mean, we looked at our data from Brand Asset Valuator, and 82% of Americans have said that the crisis has fundamentally changed the way that they're going to spend their time and their money.
82% of
82% of Americans. So, and that cuts across all types of demographics and income, including the rich as well as people in the middle class. People are really readjusting their spending.
It's almost become chic, right, to say, I got something on sale.
Absolutely.
As opposed to it would be taboo in the past.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, before thrift was sort of seen as cheap, and today it's a badge.
Right. So let's start with the consumer. What are they doing differently? Where are they shopping?
Okay, so the first thing we have to look at is that the consumer drives 70% or so of America's GDP.
Right.
They are shifting their spending into a variety of different places. They're focusing clearly into places like Costco as they look for more investments, but they're also doing something pretty interesting that we looked at and we called cooperative consumerism, which means that they're banding together to drive down prices and to get better deals. We spent time in interviewing Andrew Mason, the founder of Groupon.
I was just going to say Groupon.
Who's built an amazing business over the last year and a half or so. This is a profound movement. You've got social media tools now that allow consumers to band together to not only drive prices, but to also connect with companies whose values match their own.
We had someone on the other day, and I'm blanking on the site. It'll come to me. But basically, I can flag, I can sell products and recommend them and basically get a cut of it. There's all that going on too, right? Mm-hmm. There's all this commerce going on the web where I just sit home and I could like sort of make a little extra pocket change.
Absolutely. One of the things we did for the book is we spent some time with people that are carrot mobbers. Carrot mobbers in Tampa, for example, basically organize their spending to reinforce businesses for whose values they think fit their own. So again, it's almost a scaling effect, you know, where the consumer can get together. And on this values piece, I think it was interesting, you know, when people talked about it, it was about, I want to support companies who are about thrift, who are about self-reliance, who are about stewardship. And a lot of these things were happening at the grassroots level.
So it's interesting, right? Now I don't want to support the big bad corporation anymore, do I?
Very big, strong local movement. We spent time in Detroit where the average price of a house in inner city Detroit is $18,000. And yet we found amazing entrepreneurs that were building local businesses there, creating sort of a virtuous circle, basically trying to drive people back into the inner city to shop in their restaurants to help support the local economy.
But what if I am a big business? How do I get people to buy my products or come to my business?
Well, you know, for the book Spend Shift, we also interviewed across 50 different companies. We talked to lots of big companies as well. Innovative companies like Walmart with its 11 Moms program. You know, if you look at the word mommy blogger, basically, and search it, you'll find millions and millions of hits. They're a force. What they've done with mommy bloggers is create an external sort of advisory board for Walmart. Microsoft, I spent time with them last week in Redmond. They have an Elevate America program where they're basically taking their IT training and helping to retrain 2 million Americans. So this, I think this sense that we're seeing in this new shift is this move toward value and values, where the consumer is looking to corporations to do the right thing, and in return, they're going to give them their dollars.
Are they doing the right thing because they want to or because they have to?
I think it's shifting. You know, I think we're going into an era past sort of corporate social responsibility. Maybe this is CSR 2.0, you know, where we're moving past corporate social responsibility as an initiative into what drives a business model. And many of the startups that we interviewed, you know, companies like Etsy in Brooklyn, you know, companies like Blue Homes in Waltham, Massachusetts, are all focused on trying to have a very strong value proposition that guides their business model.
But, you know, we've been talking about this whole green movement for a while, too, now. Does that still have legs? Because I think a lot of people are kind of disheartened by this whole green thing. Yeah,
what we saw in our data is that consumers definitely want to support green companies, but they don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, interesting company in Brooklyn we interviewed, Recycle Bank. It's basically...
Oh, they're terrific.
They're really
They've
cool.
been here.
You know, Rob's got a really interesting company, and we interviewed him for the book and some people, but the basically RFID chips that are installed onto your recyclable bins kicks back money to your account, and you basically get frequent flyer points for recycling.
But it's actually genius. Like, something like that is totally worth it because it's not out of pocket to me, right?
Right.
And I get something.
Exactly. You're rewarded for doing the things, and you feel good about doing them in the process.
Is that the way of the future now? We're going to have to start seeing more and more of this. Like, you know, perfect example is bonobos. They make pants, but they've taken up the bonobo, you know, monkey as their cause. So donations go to that. And so there's this piece of you that feels like I'm doing a little good.
71% of Americans said they'll actively support companies whose values match their own. So I think that becomes a really guiding force for today's post-crisis economy.
So, okay, so as a company these days, I need a voice other than I'm trying to sell you my product. I need a voice. I need then some sort of cause.
I think so. I think you need to look beyond your shareholders. Clearly, they're incredibly important, but you got to think about your stakeholders, your employees, the other people in your value chain. And I think what we're seeing in a lot of these business models is taking that cause of what you stand for, your mission and your vision, putting it at the center of your company. We spent time with Tony Hsieh, CEO of Zappos, fantastic company, you know, driven by customer service, but at the core of their business model are values around what their culture wants to be and how that manifests
Are they
itself.
turning inwards as well? You know, I mean, a lot of people on our chat are very skeptical because, you know, I could easily say ethics are coming back, but no one will believe me if I say that. Are they therefore turning inward and saying, okay, let's make sure our employees are happy, because that then makes everybody else happy?
Absolutely. I mean, I think you're seeing the rise of individuals and institutions really defining companies. We spent time with Scott Monty, head of social media at Ford, who's making a really big difference as they look at bringing out new products to the marketplace.
Do you think corporate ethics are coming back, even though no one's going to believe me?
Well, the
Or
consumer...
believe what you say?
The consumer definitely wants it. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw kindness and empathy grow in our study over the last 2 years by fourfold, 391%. So consumers
Kindness
are
and empathy being the things I want?
right, in
as
a company or in a
consumer?
brand. Yeah, I want this company to understand me. I want them to understand the context I'm in. So, you know, that drove the success perhaps in part of Hyundai's buyer reassurance program. These types of gestures are what consumers are looking
Kindness
for.
and empathy. That sounds like something you put in an ad, like when you're looking for a date in the paper. John Gerzema, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Tracy.
President of Brand Asset Consulting and co-author of Spend Shift. We certainly have shifted. Hopefully we stay that way. We
Thank
don't
you.
go back to our vicious, greedy ways.